Hey, Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana. Good day. The X-22 report is one of the best political reports we get. I want you to reiterate and reaffirm some very important things here. Let's see if we can get to it.
In Venezuela has to deal with deep troops who are going to go in there. The same thing with Syria. But we can see there's a cleanup operation in effect right now. And in order for us to move forward and to...
So he's talking about Venezuela, and there's a cleanup operation going on right now, and we don't want to push troops down there yet. Or maybe not at all, depending on what happens.
reset the world, and I'm not just talking about the U.S., to reset the world, this has to be done. And what you need to do is you need to step back a little bit and take a look at what is happening, because when you move back and you see the plan in full, you can't see the whole plan because we don't know the entire plan. You can see the different sections of the plan where Trump has to deal with the deep state in the Middle East, has to deal with the deep state in Venezuela, has to deal with deep state in North Korea, the deep state in China, and in all these different places. That's one part of it.
Now, again, we need to see the bigger picture because the deep states everywhere can get its hands into. In Central America and Venezuela and other places, Brazil and other places. It's also in Europe fully and England fully. It's also in China. It's also in North Korea. It's also in the Middle East. And he started to clean up and work on these different parts around the world as well as what he's doing here. This is a global leader cleanup job with the deep state globally. We're looking at a global plan, not just in the United States, but globally. This man is incredible.
When you look at the other parts, where he also and him and his patriots, he has to deal with the treasonous criminal deep state here in the United States. Then he has to deal with the central bankers. Then he has to deal with the mainstream media. There are many parts to all of this. And it seems what the patriots do is they move from one part to another, keeping the deep state moving and trying to figure out what he's doing.
So again, these white hats and these patriots, these people have really joined forces because they got a commander and leader now that is willing to put everything on the line. And they've got tight security around him. They've got smart people working with him in and outside the military. Plus, he is a workaholic, only getting 3 or 4 hours of sleep a day. And he's working on this around the clock. Think about that. Think about the mastermind and the masterpieces and the complexity of all this. It's incredible.
Still working in the background on the other parts, but they make certain parts public.
Now again, with good propaganda and with good media and with good 4chan, 8chan, and other conservative groups. Now there's conservative groups in all these countries. And I'm not so sure that they're not also working in conservative group outlets around the world with translators and other things. Think about that. Think about that. Probably is. We're just seeing a little part of it here in America that affects us mostly. This is global in its nature, and we're talking about a worldwide global event and changes that need to take place to help prepare. And what no one is talking about is this is divinely inspired, and he's going to be one of the greatest leaders in the world history to help prepare the world for the second coming and for Christ and the establishment of Zion and a one world government through Christ, both in Jerusalem and the United States. Think about that. This is preparatory work. I believe this is divine work and divinely set up, and this man has been divinely called by Christ to do this work. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. This was interesting with the Office of the Inspector General.
That by two current senior FBI officials and one retired FBI official, the FBI contractor engaged in certain inherent governmental activities in contravention of federal acquisitions regulations.
Now, we don't know who these two are, but we had the QFBI come out and say the same thing was going to happen around or after the 15th of February, not too far away, 2 weeks away, or maybe a little longer. That's not too far away. That will give a lot of people hope. Now, you've got to understand that Trump is using very high-level controlled leaks to throw people off or to warn people what's coming and to really put some pressure on them to screw up.
Question was asked, Ivanka Trump. I looked into some of her travels, said Orr. The goal was to see whether they were involved in dealings and transactions with people who had suspicious pasts. And what's very interesting about this is that more and more of these leaks are coming out. The question is, why? And look who they're leaked out to. They're leaked out so the American people can start to understand what is really going on here.
Now remember, these leaks are controlled and it's helping the American public, especially those that are in the conservative areas, in spreading this information of really what's going on. Other people that are brainwashed, the media won't say anything else, they may care less. But other people in the know and with the conservative groups that are spreading this information with friends, family, and other individuals are getting this information out to people that are open enough to know what's going on and know that things are being done behind the scenes.
These are controlled leaks. Now, of course, the New York Times, the main...
Now remember, these are controlled leaks. This is part of the chess game, the overall chess game and the education of the public. And it's not just in the United States. I'm sure it's in Europe. I'm sure it's in China even. I'm sure it's in somehow North Korea even. I'm sure it's in the Middle East as well as in Central and South America as well as Africa and even in Australia and other places.
Mainstream media, they're going to brush this off. They're going to try to push it away and say it's not important. It's not a big deal. This is normal. But that's okay because people start to think when they hear all this information.
Again, why hasn't the president declassified? I'll just make it real simple. Mueller's in the way, and that's their insurance. His report is going to come out pretty soon. When he's out of the way, and our insurance and our firewall is the House or the Senate. You got to get 2/3 of the Senate to impeach the president. And the House is going to show that they're going to try to get this done before Mueller leaks out his information, and they're not going to get anywhere with it. But Trump is waiting for the ideal time to expose all this, to break up the Democratic Party leadership and the constituency that's followed them so blindly, and to really shake that party up big time. And I'll bet it wouldn't surprise me if this is going to happen in the spring or summer of 2020 when we're in a high-pitched time for 2020 elections. You wait and see. I still believe that's when he's going to do this as an optimum, the best time to really hit them where it hurts and to really shake things up. And the media is going to have to swallow a big pill and take some extra wipe along. Let me tell you, they're going to crap all over this and all over themselves, and they're going to look really bad too. So this is going to be a 1-2 knockout punch. You wait and see.
Understand the core issue within the debate of declassifying. One, President Trump has ultimate declassification authority. Number two, yes, he does, but however, in this example, Trump is also the target of the investigation, so declassification could be viewed by elements within the investigation as obstruction. So yes, he has the ultimate declassification authority, and yes, he can do it, but he'd be interfering with the Mueller investigation. I want to go back to New York Post. This is November 2018. This is the headline: Trump threatens to declassify devastating docs about Democrats. And this is what Trump says, and I want you to remember this for a moment. New York Post: in a wide-ranging exclusive interview with the Post, President Trump said Wednesday that if the House Democrats launch probes into his administration, which he called presidential harassment, they'd pay a heavy price. If they go down the presidential harassment track, if they want to go and harass the president and the administration, I think that would be the best thing that would happen to me. I'm a counterpuncher, and I'll hit them so hard, they'll never been hit like that, he said. So Trump said he could declassify FISA warrant applications and other documents from Robert Mueller's probe.
So again, this includes the FISA 1 and 2 reports. This includes other things that the military has. But he's going to pick an ideal time to do this. He's not going to waste it, so the media just blows it off and forgets about it. No. He's going to do it at an ideal time when no one can forget about it and no one can let it just pass. Think about that.
Predicted the disclosure would expose the FBI, the Justice Department, Clinton campaign as being in cahoots to set him up. He said, I think that would help my campaign. If they want to play tough, I'll do it. They will see how devastating those pages are. But Trump told the Post he wanted to save the documents until they were needed. It's much more powerful if I do it then, he said, because if we had done it already, it would already be yesterday's news. So Trump is waiting for something, and he's waiting for the perfect time to release all of this.
Remember, what better and perfect time than the height of the 2020 elections and either the summer, later summer, early fall. They will come out no later than that time, I believe. I'll be shocked if they don't. That would be the ideal time to switch people's thinking, and maybe even a little later, September, October, just before November elections, the first of November elections. It would be a perfect time, mid to late September, no later than the 1st to middle of October. Perfect time, somewhere in mid-September to mid-October. Perfect time when people are going to get hit in the face with it, and they're going to have to realize how crappy and how destructive and how wicked and how treacherous the deep state and the Democratic Party are. Again, it's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. We're going to leave it there. I'm going to give you the link for this. They're about 31 minutes long. We only did a little less than half of this, and you can watch the rest of the X-22 report. Good day.